2 o'clock on a Wednesday afternoon, heavy business hours for many of us. A year ago, Cindy Brown would have been caught up in this. Her career then was as a TV commercial producer. She earned $75,000 a year. Even after she became pregnant, she never expected the dramatic shift in her priorities.
I was so sure that I wanted to go back to work. I had committed to my employer, that I was definitely going to come back after 4 months. And I was surprised to find out that after spending a little time with the baby, I just couldn't imagine leaving. I just didn't want to.
Cindy Brown is one of a growing number of women who are choosing to leave their careers, and many aren't going back to work at all. Now, their reasons vary. Some become mothers for the first time and decide they want to throw themselves into that experience. Others are simply fed up with the pressures in the workplace. More and more women are deciding that having it all doesn't necessarily mean doing it all at the same time. They are the subjects of keen new interest in magazines and books. They're even in cartoon strips. They all admit they're plain lucky to be able to afford to give up their salaries. But far from just a financial decision, this is a deeply emotional one as well.
I always thought, I'll never stay home and raise kids. That's boring. And then, so the first year when I did stay home, because my heart just wouldn't let me leave, I was critical of myself for being home because I had a mindset about women who stay home.
Georgia Whitkin-Lanoyle is a psychologist who writes about stress in women.
What we have now are choices, and what women are doing are exercising choices, which is very different than giving up on previous roles.
These women haven't tried to take on that modern-day juggling act of working a job full-time, being a conscientious mother, and a loving wife, too.
It can be done, but I don't want to do it.
Jennifer Brown of the National Organization for Women in New York says the workplace forgets there's a time and a place for family.
The whole social structure, the work structure of our country is hopelessly antiquated and outdated. It is still based on the idea that you have one person in a family working at a job and their spouse, the wife, at home with the children, taking care of all the work that has to be done there. It does not apply to most families in America today, but it is putting a tremendous squeeze and pressure on both men and women and children too.
Most women, like Brooklyn Assistant DA Ellen Dugo, say making that decision to leave their careers was one of the toughest ever.
I started to think about what it would mean not going back to work. Giving up my salary, for one thing, which my husband was upset about. My whole self-image, self-concept was formulated on, I'm a lady lawyer, and I'm an assistant district attorney, and it's very hard to just all of a sudden change your whole life around.
But with it all, it was hard to find one woman who was disappointed with her life at home now. They're all torn with misgivings, but no real regrets about the decision.
It's not just that I did it for Matthew, I did it for me too. It was just something I had to do.
Tomorrow, part 2 of our special looks deeper into the stresses of life at home after career and how these women are dealing with it. Carol Martin, Channel 2 News.